think consent is consent, as long as you do a good job going through the process of explaining what the risks are. Maybe the risks of disclosure of sexual torture are a little different because of the heavy cultural associations and shame and stigma. So if again, so but if a person does not give you consent, that's the end of it, and you have to respect that. So I think I don't see a different. We don't have different forms for sexual torture versus any other torture, but it's also important, and we do this in PHR training, is to train clinicians how to obtain consent in a trauma-informed manner. What are the things that you need to involve? Again, this is all standardized again, so to make sure that you cover everything and you really describe to the survivor the potential for harm for themselves if this information comes out.
I think that, you know, the flip side of this is also that one thing we do see quite a lot of is also this kind of presumption that you can coerce or force, or you should be coercing or forcing a survivor to go through a forensic examination. I think there's often a drive for accountability in certain contexts. So for example, in a context like Ukraine, where there is a big commitment to accountability by the government, I think there's often, I think, a feeling that, okay, if a judge has told me as a physician I need to do a forensic examination, that I then need to push the survivor to actually consent to the forensic examination. You see that a process that could be potentially healing, you know, ends up kind of turning into something that is harmful when there is a presumption that actually a survivor needs to be coerced, you know, to go through with this exam, in part because a clinician may also feel that the judge is directing them to intervene. And this is part of the reason that we often think about how, you know, building good practices and documentation of sexual torture requires more than just training clinicians, although training clinicians is obviously a critical aspect. It also requires training these other sectors. And so that's been a big part of our project now, is then engaging with the Supreme Judicial Council and really thinking about how we can support a shared set of terminology, a shared set of language and understanding of each other's roles, and also really an understanding of the myths and misconceptions that can undermine the collection of comprehensive evidence and evidence that's collected in a way that is survivor-centered and trauma-informed.